Hi, I'm Jessica Sipovic, Training Specialist with the Illinois Center for Transition and Work at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. You may have downloaded or seen our Transportation Solutions Guide on our website, and today I'm here to talk you through how you might use this. There's a lot of information in this resource, and I'm hoping that this short little webinar will help you think about how you can use this and how it might be a solution for how you get students to and from work-based learning sites in your area.
So today we're going to walk through how to utilize the Transportation Solutions Strategies for Getting to Work-Based Learning Sites guide that we have available at the Illinois Center for Transition and Work's website. If you haven't accessed this guide already, this is what the cover page looks like. You can get it from our website as well as linked in the description of this YouTube video. This guide came about because it was consistent across the state of Illinois. The messaging from school staff and parents and community rehab partners that one of the biggest issues that we have, or there's a lot of common issues that come along with getting students to and from work-based learning sites, and the majority of them are about transportation challenges. I'm sure if you put your eyes through this list that's on the screen currently, you can identify, or one or two, or maybe all of these resonate with challenges that you have with your school, your district, or your area when it comes to getting students out of the building and into work-based learning experiences throughout the community. With that in mind, we developed this tool. We did some surveys across the state and gathered a lot of information from educators that are doing this work, that are using creative solutions to address those challenges. And we pooled those together and came up with this guide that broke down the various strategies into 12 different, or broke down the strategies into 12 different groups. But today we're really going to focus on how to utilize this tool. When you open up the document, you'll see that there's a list of 12 strategies, and each strategy has its own page and details kind of what those mean and what's working for other people across the state of Illinois. But I really want to focus today on how to use this tool to address your specific needs in your area. So the whole point is to kind of have an opportunity to share how other people are addressing the various transportation challenges that they encounter in their community. The thing is that what worked for me in my school district with my specific population of students in this community that I live within or teach within may not be the right solution for you, but it might be an inspiration to a solution, or various components of different strategies might be what you could consider utilizing or proposing as ways to address transportation needs in your community. So let's talk through some tips for utilizing the strategies that we have in our guide. Tip number one, which I think is an obvious one in all things that have to do with special education and transition education, is one size does not fit all. So you're going to recognize as you sift through this resource, you're going to see that there are some things and you say, nope, that doesn't work where I am. Oh, we definitely don't have that where I live or in my community. So it's okay that some things are not going to be the clear one solution to all of your problems, and nothing really is going to be. We might need to cobble together various components of different strategies to come up with a solution that's going to fit your needs. You might need to look at the different people that might be able to provide a strategy or provide transportation, and piece that together with being creative about the routes that you utilize, or then also consider some components of different funding sources or ways to creatively address the financial aspect of transportation. So it's okay that you're going to read some things and you're going to be able to identify some things that might not address or might not fit the needs of your community, as well as different little components that you can tease together to create a solution that might work for you. All of that I just said sounds wildly overwhelming, and sometimes we end up on a little transportation island in the work that we do. So I think finding who your friends are, your collaborators, your partners, the helpers, as Mr. Rogers would say, that could help you work towards your transportation solution. So you don't have to stake this all alone. There's going to be other people that you're going to have to lean on or call on to help you think about how to address some of the transportation challenges. And that might be everyone from someone in the budget office to someone at the senior citizen center in town, to a parent, to a faith-based community member, and everything in between. So it's really figuring out who those key players are going to be in helping you and the rest of your team address the transition or the transportation challenges that you're encountering. I think the important thing to note here is that when we were reading through the strategies that were provided to us in the development of this tool, we recognize that there's names for things that are used in certain areas and not used in other ones. So you might see some kind of region-specific jargon or the name of a certain type of program or grant or what have you as you look through this guide. Make sure that you take a minute, if you're unfamiliar, to do a quick Google and understand exactly what they're referencing, because although they might not call it the same thing in your area, they could have something similar under a different name or something kind of in the same arena of a strategy or a specific name of something that you encounter. So I really encourage you to, one, be inquisitive. If you see something that you don't understand, look it up, see if it might be something you could consider. But also, I think another way of kind of approaching the research aspect is really doing some community mapping. We have some great resources on our website, if you're not familiar with that, to maybe expand your purview on what might or might not be available in your community. There could just be things we haven't considered. I think there's things that we found in the development of this tool that certain communities in Illinois are leaning on their faith-based programs, or like I mentioned, senior citizen or Department of Aging services. There's a range of particular initiatives or reduced fare opportunities through taxi or rideshare providers locally. I know where we're seeing a lot where you have a mass transit system. Again, not always available everywhere, but sometimes there's free or reduced transportation options available for individuals with disabilities. Or just tapping into your local municipality, your village, your township, your city, to see what programs might be available. And you might be surprised some things you hadn't heard about because sometimes they don't get as well promoted. So do your research, be inquisitive, open up your eyes to see what might be available in your community, to see if something that you're finding in here might be something that you can address in your own area. Tip number 4 is the kind of not so fun one, is the cross the T's and dot the I's, because really you can come up with some great strategies and take away from some things that we have addressed in this guide specifically. But you need to make sure that it's in alignment with the applicable policies, regulations, or procedures in your district. You're going to probably have to run some things up the flagpole and get some approvals and make sure that the leadership in your area is okay with the solution you come up with, and you might need their help in maybe building out some policies or procedures or regulations that don't already exist around this, which could be part of the problem. But I think making sure that you are taking it to where you need to take it to in your area. Again, it looks different based on the district, but making sure that you are in alignment with those things so we don't get in trouble down the line. Tip number 5 is to be patient but persistent. Again, I think the other tagline of special education is that this is probably going to take some time. I'm sure the transportation challenge that you're encountering likely has been one that's been an issue for a while. So addressing these might take a little bit of time, be a little bit of a slow burn, might take a few approvals or board meetings or whatever it might be to get things moving. So I think being patient is going to be really important. It doesn't mean that we don't provide meaningful work-based learning experiences in the meantime, because there's a lot of great things that we can do. And I'm going to talk about that briefly on the next slide. But recognizing that things that are addressed in these strategies are not things that happen overnight. Arranging different transportation routes, finding the funding that you might need, getting my paraprofessionals certified to drive the activity bus. Some of those things are going to take a minute. Getting approval to be able to provide a stipend to teachers to be drivers. Again, all of these things are not going to happen overnight. So recognizing that we are making progress in the right direction. In the meantime, I'm going to provide the most meaningful work-based learning experiences I possibly can with the system that I'm currently working within, and keeping your eyes on the prize and being persistent and making sure that we are still moving in that direction in the meantime. And like I just mentioned, this guide does walk through some things about what to do in the meantime. And it's just about working with what you have, like I just said, but also being persistent and moving towards change. So there might be a lot of opportunities available within your building, within walking distance, close by, bringing things into the building that you might not be able to get to out in the community, but making sure that we are still meeting the work-based learning experience, instruction, and opportunities that are so meaningful while we figure out how to get our students out into the community, which we know is going to provide the most meaningful learning and training opportunities possible. Just to revisit, these are the tips. When you open up this guide, it might feel overwhelming, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. So peruse through it, but also keep in mind, use the lens of what's the challenge I'm trying to address? Keep things a little open-minded. Recognize that one size doesn't fit all. I don't have to do this alone. Find my helpers. Do some research and figure out what might be available, or something that I'm just not aware of, or a community resource that's new that I just haven't tapped into yet. I need to make sure that I'm crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and that I'm running things through the right approvals, and that I am in alignment with the policies, procedures, and regulations that are required by my district. And also being patient, being persistent, being the squeaky wheel, but at the same time, still providing the most meaningful work-based learning experiences as possible for our students. So these are the things that I want you to keep in mind as you use this tool. If you haven't downloaded it already, you can either scan this QR code, which will take you to our webpage, or you can type in the URL on this slide here, and it'll take you to our website where you can download this resource and also explore other things that Illinois Center for Transition Work has to offer. Thanks for joining us today.